So, a lot about what I'm going to talk about depends upon your accepting my dream of the availability of fusion energy. Yes,
But you know what's disturbing me about your hypothesis is that the world today is being the possibility of world peace and all this other BS is really complicated by the advent of terrorism and other philosophical ideologies that are counter to the technological developments.
Quite
and
right.
This is going to be a battle that we're going to have. So 100 years from now, you're liable to lose your bet.
Well, remember, well, of course. Anybody who wants to make a bet here is, I have a bridge.
I'll hold the money.
Remember, I began by saying that the war of 2054 was concluded with the establishment of an International Space Council and a lunar base that basically burns the ass off anybody that wants to create a problem. Okay, so I've set up...
That's a great solution. Burn the ass off. I like that, yeah.
I've set up a dream, a scenario.
Right.
Now let me tell you about the family, Dave and Norma Terrace. They're still around. Talk about long lives.
Yeah, right.
Well, now Dave is a member of the U.S. Department of State. He's an administrator for international trade. Norma teaches Asian languages. The children still John and Mary, 11 and 7. And they live where else you think I would have them live? Encino.
They moved uptown.
I thought Palo Alto.
They moved uptown to Encino.
Well, how come they didn't get any older? They're still 11 and 7?
Okay, so let's see where they live.
Beautiful.
That's where they live. That's where they live.
Malibu.
No, that's Encino.
But they're
Encino,
There's
right
an
there on
ocean.
Havenhurst Drive.
Yeah.
Really?
0191.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, the home is all prefab, modular, fully soundproof, very nice. It uses conditioned air, all antiseptically purified. They have 2 offices in their home, including instant global communications. They have an entertainment room, 3D video and games. The roof is paneled with solar panels, of course, and
Where's
much
the roof?
improved solar panels than we have today. They have security systems in the home, both voice and physical measurements, for example, retina scans. They have upstairs and downstairs robotic valet servants. They have automatic programmed meals. They have a garage with full automated systems. Their cars are maintained and serviced regularly in their garage.
How does she make reservations for dinner? Does she do that?
Using a telephone.
Encino housewives don't.
And all the water, of course, is recycled. Okay, there's a lot more about their home, but that gives you an idea of where they live. Now we're going to talk about the story in their lives. It happens to be Monday, October the 12th, 2110. And on this particular morning, Norm and Dave were awakened by the sound of the LA Philharmonic's version of Mahler's First Symphony over the bedroom speaker.
Kids listening to that also?
The day is a special one because Dave, as an administrator in the Department of State, is to fly to Beijing at noon to attend an international conference on new international trade protocols. Dave and Norma entered their respective Medi showers, which measure their weights and health data, and which is wirelessly transmitted to the United States Health Center. Their children were the first generation of children that were mandated to have metadata nanobeads implanted at birth. That was mandated. The beads transmit their data over the family's website to the health center. The center compares a day's data with previous readings and, as appropriate, alerts the family to trends, positive or negative, with recommendations for actions to improve their health. And while they're dressing, their upstairs robotic servant made their bed and tidied their room. During this interval, the servant also recited the major events scheduled for the day. After dressing, Norma awakened the children and entered the kitchen, where she activated the food preparation center for the family's breakfast. The center contained all the week's menus for the family and prepared all meals. The menus for the week had been programmed by Norma to assure delivery and storage of all necessary foodstuffs automatically.
Hawkins worked.
After the family's breakfast, the downstairs robotic servant cleaned and stored all the foodstuffs and where. Norma wondered how in the world her great-great-grandmother could ever have managed. That person would have lived in 2010, our time. At 7:45, Norma said her goodbyes to Dave and backed her Chevy Sports Coupe from the garage for the short drive to the Portola Junior High School, still standing in Tarzana, where she taught Chinese dialects and Indian Hindi to her 8th grade students. Now, some of you may wonder, why in the world in this century are they still teaching children in a schoolroom? The answer is, back in 2030, an experiment had been tried using online teaching. After 10 years, it was deemed a failure. Children simply were not disciplined or mature enough to do studies on their own. Arriving back home, Dave arranged a 3D video conference call with his traveling associates and DC superiors. Of particular importance was the Chinese Democratic Republic, no longer People's Republic, Democratic Republic. Their plan to sell 40 extreme X-manned communication satellites to Argentina. The plan was in direct conflict with the ongoing U.S. negotiations with Argentina. And after an hour, Dave packed and set the home security systems. Entering the garage, he powers up his Jenga Super X sedan for the drive to the Union Station downtown L.A. He enters the freeway and he emerges into the second, that is the high-speed manual lane. Within a minute, the Jenga takes control and pulls left into the #1 auto guide lane.